thank you for joining. And I believe this is a very interesting topic and new topic to most of us. The black rose and the microbe, where nature's art meets science. This is the former French Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte and his wife Josephine. Everybody know that Napoleon's wife Josephine had an enormous influence on Napoleon, not only his personal life, but his administrative role as well. In fact, if you watch the movie Napoleon, Josephine is making a claim, Napoleon, I made you the emperor. That was the level of influence Napoleon, Josephine had on Napoleon. So I'm making a claim. The history of Europe could have been different if Josephine's skin microbiome had a predominance of Corynebacterium or Propionibacterium. Those who microbiologists here, scientists here know very well what these bacteria are. For the non-scientists, Corynea and Propioni, these are all the normal bacteria on the skin. And I'm just making a claim, if Josephine's skin had more Corynea and Propioni, the history of France and Europe could have been different. Why? That's what we are going to discuss. Scent is the most powerful emotion, sense. Out of all the senses, scent is most powerful than vision, than taste, than touch, than sound. The scent influences the human brain than any other sense. And why is that? Why is such an influence that other senses do not have? Even a person's scent can influence our attraction to them more than the way they look, or the touch, or the taste of the food, or the voice. Is a scent can influence a person in various levels. Why is that? What is the science behind it? The scent is due to the volatile organic compounds or the scent molecules from anything, from the flower, from a good object, or whatever may be the scent producing object. It produces scent molecules, volatile organic compounds that reaches the olfactory receptors of our nose. And there are millions of them. But there are only 500 types of receptors in the human nose. Dogs have got several times, 20 times more number of receptors. And that's why dogs can smell more better than humans. But still, human brain, the olfactory part is very well developed than any other animal. Even though we have less number of receptors, our brain, the olfactory areas, cortex, is much more developed than any other animal. These molecules fall on the receptors, going through the olfactory nerve, reaching the olfactory cortex, and that is in the limbic system. And limbic system is the part of the brain for emotion, not for rational thinking. And one sense that does it, that bypasses the thalamus of the brain, is the smell. All the other senses have to go through the thalamic filter to reach the cerebral cortex, and not the scent. The scent can directly influence the limbic system that control the emotion without the filter, without the gate of thalamus. The smell influences the human emotion and memory than any other sense. And this is the reason our brain is wired like that, because evolutionary basis, smell is protective. Humans living in a forest has to get the smell of a tiger or lion attacking humans. So that we need to get from a distance. Our brain is well developed. We don't have the time for the danger, the scent to go to the cortex and then process through the thalamic filter. There's no time for filtration. That's why evolutionary process, the scent is the most powerful sense. That's why when you smell a flower or a perfume or the smell of an oil, it may think about your grandma during your childhood memories or other memories in your past. The moment you get a sense of smell something, immediately your brain carries you to the your past memories linked to that particular smell. Smell is linked to memory and emotion. That's why the olfactory subliminal influence or priming, whether a personal level, you may not be even evident how the smell is influencing the other person or you. You know, it's a way of influencing others without our knowledge. And I like the other slide of Vladimir Putin sitting with the German chancellor, former German chancellor Angela Merkel. You know, can you see that big dog? That is Putin's dog. And Angela Merkel is afraid of small dogs. And Putin has kept his largest one in the room with Angela. And see that Angela is sitting so afraid. And they came for a diplomatic discussion between two countries. And how can Angela discuss anything? Her thought is not working. She's just afraid. And Putin, I'm sure, did it on purpose, because Putin is a former Secret Service director of the Russian intelligence agency. He knows very well he's doing. But does he have to do it? Why can't why can't he use more, less evident methods like influencing Angela or somebody, the thought process through scent? It can be very well done. It has been done. You can very well influence the thought process of another person through scent. The smell. Now, how many of you use perfume? I'm sure, quite a number of people. In fact, in the world, 70% of the people use perfume. 45% use it every day. Every day. 70% Gen Z use perfume. Perfume is a part of human beings' life. Not just the modern time. During the even perfume was in use several thousand years before the Christ. In fact, the commonest method of perfume molecule collection from for example, if you have a rose, to collect the rose oil or a jasmine oil, that method is called steam distillation. You boil the flower or material, that steam will be collected and the oil will be condensed. That's called steam distillation. 500 years BC, India had steam distillation process. There is archaeological evidence that in the Harappan and the Mohenjo-daro, in 3,500 years ago, there were apparatus used for steam distillation. In fact, India, the steam distillation originated in India. And simultaneously, the Egyptians were using balming. They used perfumed balms. And the Babylonians were using smoke, the incense smoking. So all these simultaneously evolved. So India has got a very, very ancient history of perfumery. And India even though the French, the Grasse is the capital of perfumery, India and the Babylons and Egyptians have got the history, the real history of perfumery. The perfumery used Europe only 1,400 years after Christ, AC. It went from India, Iran, and to the Babylonians, to the Arabs, and to the Spain, and then the French got and Belgians got perfumery techniques from the Arabs, and earlier before that from the Indians and the Persians. It's very much Indian influenced. So there are different types of perfume notes: the floral, the citrus, the fruity, the spicy, the woody, the musky. Now the participants, which note you like? Chaitra, Karnika?
Sir, citrus.
Citrus. Chaitra?
Floral.
Others?
And fruity.
Floral and fruity. And citrus. Yes. Others? Other participants? Your favorite notes?
It's fruity.
Fruity. Very good. Others? Nobody spicy? No wood? No musk? No oud? Right. Let's see what these notes are. Now, before that, I'm asking a question. How do you choose perfume? When you visit a perfume shop, they will give you the filter paper. You test it on a filter paper or apply it on the wrist. How do you select your perfume? Kaninga, how do you select your perfume?
Sir, using it on a strip.
On a strip. Chaitra?
Same on a strip. And
Or
sometimes
Others?
Maybe on the wrist. Yeah.
Sometimes on the skin. Others? I can't see the names because I am on the presentation mode. How do you select perfume?
So some people are adding their comments in the chat.
Oh yeah, Ijaz has answered musky. Vishal Gupta, citrus. So there are citrus people, there are floral people, and Ijaz try it on the wrist. Good. Now, what's the problem in trying it on the filter paper or even on the wrist? Let's discuss the science. A perfume has three, the modern perfume, I'm not talking about others, a modern perfume has three notes: the top note, the mid note, and the base note. The moment you spray a perfume, whether filter paper, on the skin, whatever, wherever you apply, the first blast that you get is called as the top note. The top note is the first one you get on a filter paper or on the skin. And that top note disappears in 5 to 10 minutes, maximum half an hour. So you select your perfume in a shop based on the top note. That's an immediate impression. You apply it on the skin or tissue paper. After 10 minutes or half an hour, the mid note or the heart note, the most important part of the perfume appears. Whether it is floral or any other note, that's the most important part of the perfume that lasts for 2 to 4 hours. And then the base note appears that lasts for 6 to 8 hours. That's how perfumes are made. The top note, the heart note, and the base note. And first the top note appears, it evaporates. The mid note appears, evaporates. Base note appears, evaporates. So, friends, you buy your perfume on a tissue paper. What smell you get? The top note. The top note, where the most important part of the perfume is the mid note. You're not even getting what the mid note of a perfume is if you try it on the tissue paper. Same thing on your skin. If you apply it on the wrist and just get a smell, you're getting the top note. Maybe a faint mid and base note you will get, but predominantly what you get is the top note. You will not understand, you will not get the perception of the performance of the perfume if you apply it on the tissue paper or on the wrist and immediately smelling it. If you really want, apply it on the wrist, walk around in the supermarket for 4 to 6 hours, at least 4 hours, you will understand how a perfume functions on your skin. Let's discuss that in detail. Now, the science again. These are the 3 words, and we should know these words. The projection. What is projection? You apply a perfume on your body. Stand next to a person, you are talking to that person or few people. The distance the other person can get your perfume smell is called the projection. Ideally, it should be 1 meter. If you apply a perfume, stand next to people. If the other person is more than 1 meter and getting it, the way you apply perfume is a bit too much. You should re-look into the way you apply and select your perfume. The ideal projection is 1 meter. And some people apply too much perfume, too strong a perfume, or a perfume that doesn't suit their skin, and you can get the smell 5 meters or 10 meters away. That's a wrong way of applying or choosing perfume. The next technical term is called sillage. It's spelled as sillage. It's a French word pronounced as sillage. Sillage means you apply a perfume and walk around. Others will get a cloud or a mist of perfume. That's called sillage, the trail of perfume. If somebody is walking around, others can get sillage. That's called the sillage. See, the projection is by the top note. Well, sillage is mainly by the late mid note and base note. That's an important difference. If you want others to know the strength of your perfume, select a perfume with a significant top note. But if you want a aura, the most important part, the sillage, you should buy something that is good with the mid note and base note. Then there is evolution of perfume, very important. From top note, the mid note to the base note, the evolution of the perfume should be harmonious. A good perfume will have harmonious evolution, expected to have an harmonious evolution. And then there is a longevity. How long a perfume lasts on your skin? 6 hours, 8 hours, 24 hours, more than that? That's called the longevity of the perfume. These terms are very important. And let's discuss about notes. The citrus notes, the lemon, orange, bergamot, grapefruit. The citrus notes are light, fresh, zesty, and energizing. They are quick to evaporate and create an uplifting first impression. Why is that? Because the citrus notes are very light molecules. The size of molecules are very, very small. It's like evaporate very fast. Perfumers compare this with, take just think tissue paper is, or your skin is a branch of tree. And there are different colors and sizes of birds sitting on the branch. A breeze settle in, who will fly first? The wind settle in, who will fly first? The small birds, then the mid-sized birds, then the large birds. Perfume molecules are like birds of different sizes. The wind come in, the breeze come in, the light molecules evaporate first, then the mid-size, then the base note. And that's the basis of the top note, mid note, and the base note, based on the molecular size and several other chemical variables. Citrus notes are usually top notes, light volatile organic compounds. They evaporate fast. But that's why that fast evaporation is the reason behind the quick, the blast, or the first impression you get when you apply a perfume. A lot of perfume has citrus note as the top note. Fruity note, give the youthfulness, the playfulness, the amazing scent of fruity notes. The apple, the sweet peach, berry, pineapple. And most people love the peachy fruit notes. Fruit notes are usually mid note and sometimes top note. The herbal notes, the mint, the basil, rosemary, thyme, the real cooling and refreshing herbal notes. Usually they are top notes. The floral notes. 90% of the feminine perfumes have got floral notes. And probably 50% of the masculine perfumes have also got floral notes. They're romantic, soft, feminine. Just not just feminine, it could be masculine as well. The rose, the lavender, jasmine, ylang ylang, lily of the valley, the iris. It's a rose. It's a long list. But not just for ladies. Look at this black rose. My title of the talk was the black rose. Where is the black rose? The black rose from Halfeti. Halfeti is a small village in Turkey, where that's the only part of the world where the black rose grows in summer. That's because in that Halfeti village, the soil, the chemistry is different. That's why in Halfeti in summer, it becomes black rose. It's mostly symbolic. Some of the niche perfumes use the black rose. Is it far better than other rose? We don't really know, but it has got that romantic aura of the black rose of Halfeti, mainly in masculine perfume. Geranium, the famous geranium, is very common in masculine perfumes or unisex perfumes. It's not really feminine. The next, orange blossom, the neroli, is seen in both feminine and masculine perfume. Then our jasmine. There are two types of jasmine. The Indian jasmine is called as the sambag jasmine. The deep, a bit of animalic scent of the Indian jasmine. And there's a Western jasmine called Jasminum grandiflorum. That's a Western jasmine. That is light floral. It's very different from the Indian jasmine. It's very strong, a bit animalic, masculine, where the Western, especially the French jasmine is light floral. Similarly, rose, there are two types of rose. The most common rose is called Rosa damascena, originally from Damascus. Even India and most other countries, and Bulgaria is the capital of the Rose Valley. That's Bulgaria. It's mainly Rosa damascena. In French, the rose is different. It's called Rosa centifolia, the 100-petal rose of the Rosa centifolia. But definitely the world believes the Rosa damascena is the best one. How many volatile organic compounds are there in rose? 800 volatile organic compounds. In jasmine, 500 volatile organic compounds. We'll discuss more about volatile organic compounds. Then there are spicy notes, the oriental notes, the cinnamon, clove, nutmeg, pepper, ginger, the warm, sensual, rich, and exotic profile, intense and intoxicating. Many of the Oriental Asian perfumes or Middle Eastern perfumes have got spicy note, and now the fragrance community is adding more and more spicy notes into the modern perfumery. The spicy notes. Then the woody notes, and I love one woody note, the different types of woody notes, the sandalwood oil, our own sandalwood oil, the amazing aroma of sandalwood oil. Very, very expensive. 1 kilogram of sandalwood oil, anywhere between 5 lakhs to 50 lakhs. Then there is something called as the oud, the mysterious oud. You know where we get the oud? Oud is from the tree called Aculeria tree, the oud tree. You know, if any injury on the bark of the oud tree, whether artificially or naturally, the tree, some fungus grow, the same fungus that cause infections in humans, like, you know, Scedosporium and a lot of fungus. It attacks the tree, and the tree fights back by producing oud oil. Oud oil is produced from the tree, the stem, the wood of the tree to fight against the fungus. And that is the oud. So what farmers do, it's banned to cut the wild wood trees. But farming, now there is oud farming, where farmers deliberately injure the bark of the tree and pour in, just like IV fluids, pour in fungus, infuse it, so that the tree produces oud. It will take in nature up to 20, 40 years, and in the farming, 5 years to have oud. Then they take that part of the wood or cut the tree, do steam and distillation. They boil the wood in water and they collect the distillate. The distillate will be the mysterious oud. And one of the largest oud producers is Assam. Assamese oud is so famous. The deep, animalic, woody, mesmerizing Assamese oud. Then there is the Cambodian sweet oud. There is a Vietnamese oud. There's a Sri Lankan oud. There are different types of oud. And oud is so expensive. 1 kilogram oud, then you cost anywhere between 5 lakhs and 2 crores. It's like gold, more expensive than gold. And oud is a part of the perfumery. Both ancient authors and modern perfumery, oud is a very important part. Then there is cedarwood oil, amber, vetiver. You know what vetiver? Vetiver is a root of a plant grown in the wild, and that vetiver is used in perfumery. Patchouli, bakewood, these are all woody notes. Then there is musky note, the musk that we use. You know the musk, where the musk come from? Musk come from near the gonadal area of the musk deer. Only thing, you have to kill the musk deer to get the musk. Then there is the civet cat, near the anal area of the civet cat. You have to harm the animal to get the musk. So nowadays, you cannot kill a deer or civet to get the musk. Whatever musk you get in perfume is synthetic musk. You will not get natural musk in perfumery. Musk is a very, very common part of the perfumery. It's synthetic musk, and there are different types of synthetic musk. You know, the polycyclic musk, microcyclic musk, and musk give you a soapy feeling or a skinny feeling, a real uplifting, and musk is usually a base note because they are heavy. Oud, all the woody ones are base note. Musk is usually a base note. Woody ones are base note. Then, can anybody tell you what it is? It's called ambergris, floating gold. It's a real floating gold. It's the most expensive component of perfumery. If you get 2 or 3 kilograms of ambergris, you are a rich man. You know who produce ambergris? Ambergris is the vomiters of sperm whale in the sea. They vomit this material. It's vomiters, and it's so foul smelling initially, but over the time, over the months and years, the mass of the vomiters float around in the ocean. The sea breeze, the sunlight, the sea salt convert that into a mesmerizing, deep odor. Ambergris is a highly precious component in perfumery. You will get original ambergris only in very expensive perfumes. What you get today is synthetic ambroxan, which is a chemical equivalent of ambergris. You only very expensive perfume, you get the real ambergris. What you get is ambroxan in the perfumery. Then it's a musky, sweet, and marine. Then there are marine perfume, marine notes. It smells like sea breeze or seawater or rain or the seaweeds. Fresh, clean, ozonic, watery. Several perfumes are marine, have marine top note. They're top note. Marine notes are top note. Citrus ones are top note. The fruity ones are usually mid note. The spicy usually mid, but you can use it anywhere. The woody usually base note. Musky usually base note. A lot of resins like wood, a lot of resins like frankincense. Different resins are available. Now, how many of you ever had a wonderful perfume, but they did not perform as expected? Audience. How many of you bought a wonderful perfume, but it just disappears or smell doesn't smell good? How many of you had this experience?
Yeah, I had. So most of it, I feel at like this only.
Yeah. Audience, I need your opinion. This is an important part of our discussion or the theme, scientific theme. Did you have the experience of a wonderful perfume not performing on your skin? Yes, there are multiple people typing, Yes, yes. There are many people answering. Yes, they had the experience. Yes. It's a common complaint. In fact, the data shows that 50% of the individuals believe the perfumes they buy, their amazing, expensive perfume, doesn't function on the skin they want. It's a very common complaint. 50% believe some perfume don't function on their skin. It's a serious challenge in perfume marketing, but perfume industry doesn't talk about it because they don't have an immediate solution to it. But if you look at the customer survey data from big agencies, up to 50% of the perfume clients believe that it doesn't function on their skin the way they expect. Why is that? Because there's a scientific basis. Perfumes contains volatile organic compound, and then their interaction with the skin. You are not applying it on a tissue paper. You are not applying it on a bland, tissue paper or a wall. You are applying on the human skin, the live human skin. And perfumes are volatile organic compound. For example, rose contains 500 to 800 volatile organic compounds. And commonest one is citronellol, geraniol, and geraniol, lavender, the famous linalool, orange, limonene. These are all the most important volatile organic compound. And if you buy a natural rose, has got 800 volatile organic compound. But in synthetic, most of the modern perfumes are synthetic. There are. I will tell you the percentage of various perfumes. If you buy a UD cologne, in French they call OD, EAUDE, Eau de Cologne, has got 5% of the fragrance oil and 95% of the alcohol. 5% is eau de cologne. If you make it 10%, it's called eau de toilette. Eau de toilette, 10%. The EDT, 10%. Then there is 15 to 20%, the eau de parfum. In French, they call it as parfum, not perfume. Eau de parfum, 20%. Then there is the parfum, the most concentrated, 30%. And the commonest, the most selling perfumes are eau de parfum, 20%, or eau de toilette, the 10%. Especially ladies use the stronger one, eau de perfume. Men use eau de toilette or eau de parfum. Parfum itself is 30%, very strong. So, and where do you get these molecules? Synthetic. See, the natural oils are so expensive. 1 kilogram rose oil, 10 lakhs. To create 1 kilogram of rose oil, you need 5,000 kilograms of rose. 5,000 kilograms is 1 million, 10 lakh rose flowers you need to create 1 kilogram of rose oil. That's why it's bloody expensive. Minimum 5 lakh, 5 to 10 lakh, 1 kilogram of rose oil. To get 1 kilogram of jasmine oil, you need 70 lakh, 7 million jasmine buds. So expensive. It's natural oils are very expensive. So the perfume, and earlier, at least up to 150 years ago, the perfumes were used only by the rich who can afford such expensive perfume. And then the synthetic perfumery appeared. The first synthetic perfume was in 1881, called Figure Royale, containing the herbal ones, the lavender one. Then there's the explosion of the synthetic perfume industry. Nowadays, majority of the perfumes are synthetic. 70 to 100% of the components in your perfume that you use daily are synthetic. You know where they come from? Petrochemicals. Alcohol and the perfume oil is petrochemicals. They are synthetic. Of course, just because synthetic doesn't mean they are bad. Just because natural doesn't mean they are 100% safe. Both synthetics and naturals have got their advantages. Many perfumers believe you need both synthetics and naturals. There's a very famous perfumer called as René Leroux, a French authority. His statement is, synthetics are like the skeleton of a perfume, where naturals are the flesh of the perfume. You need the skeleton and the flesh in perfumery. You need synthetic and natural in perfumery. So when I say synthetic, don't be saying, oh, all synthetics are bad. No, if you use good quality perfume, good synthetics, that's fine. Naturals are so expensive. Of course, good synthetic perfume are also expensive. If you buy good perfumes, they have a combination of naturals and synthetics. Then, yes, we see perfumes contains lot of volatile organic compounds. But even if you buy the best perfume, there are around 200 volatile organic compounds. To make a synthetic rose accord, they use around 12 volatile organic compounds. But in nature, it is 800 volatile organic compounds for rose alone, and jasmine alone 400. So, however complex a modern perfume is, can never recreate the Mother Nature's amazing wonder and complexity. That's why the natural oils are always the best, because of you cannot recreate that complexity of the natural oil. You can simulate it, you can emulate it, but never recreate that perfection of the nature, which we can't do it. Now I'll give you an example. I will use two individuals' name, the Madhu Vidya conundrum. Okay, let's see. You're buying a Chanel No. 5. Chanel No. 5 is the most famous perfume in the world. First introduced in 1921 by the Coco Chanel, the famous Coco Chanel, Gabrielle Coco Chanel, and the lady so famous in the world of perfumery. This is still, even today, the most selling perfume is Chanel No. 5, the most famous, amazing perfume ever created as per the perfumers. On Madhu, the Chanel 5 bloomed into jasmine and bergamot. And both apply it on the wrist and neck. They bought the same bottle on the same day from the original shop. Both are original, both applied in the same place. On Madhu, it bloomed to an amazing jasmine and bergamot. On Vidya, it turned musky and woody. She didn't like it. Why is this different? The same perfume, same original bottle, performs entirely different on two individuals. And we should know more about Chanel No. 5. Chanel No. 5 has got a synthetic chemical called aldehyde. Aldehydes increases the bloom of the citrus and the floral. That's why Chanel No. 5 is so amazing. It has got aldehyde. And all the components are excellent. Neroli, which is the orange blossom, the bergamot, the rose, ylang ylang, the amazing smell of ylang ylang. Then the base notes are sandalwood, vetiver, vanilla, patchouli. Amazing perfume. And many of these oils are original oils, at least in the beginning. Now could be more synthetic. It's an amazing perfume. Then, okay, now you're going to a perfumer. Okay, perfumers know that two individuals, the perfume can function different. So they have got a lot of explanation on the age, the gender, the dry skin, the oily skin. So what advice they will give it to Vidya? If you go to a conventional expert perfumer, okay, they will say she has got a dry skin, so the perfumes evaporate faster, especially the wrist. It's a very exposed airy area, comparatively drier, and especially the top note. like a citrus top note or the floral mid note evaporate faster. If you apply it on the neck is usually oily. The evaporation rate is lower. That's a conventional concept. The evaporation rate is lower in the oily area because oil holds the perfume molecules down and prolong. So they last longer. That's a conventional concept. Or use a stronger perfume. Use EDP or a parfum itself. Or the common advice is apply unscented moisturizer, whether wrist, especially wrist, you apply a neutral moisturizer so that moisture holds the perfume molecules back. This is a very common advice given by the conventional perfumers. And they will say you apply on the pulse point, the wrist, the elbow, the neck, maybe behind the knees. These are the common pulse points. So this is the advice conventional perfumers give. They will you change the site of application or apply a moisturizer or use a stronger perfume. They will not go beyond that level. Will that solve Vidya's problem? No. You'll still end up smelling musk and woody, not jasmine or aldehyde. The Chanel 5 should open up with jasmine, aldehyde, and floral and citrus. And then the floral and the musky, woody. But in some individuals, the floral and aldehyde won't function well. Instead, it will be musky, woody predominance. And why is that? Why there is no solution by the conventional science? Because the conventional science, if you talk to perfumers, they will say the perfume performs differently on two individuals because of the difference in the skin chemistry. Skin chemistry means the skin pH is different. In some individuals, there is a higher pH. The normal pH is 4.5 to 5.5 based on the area. If the higher pH, many of the perfumes notes evaporate faster or metabolize faster. So perfumers already know that the pH, the moisture, the temperature, and other components, oiliness, dryness, significantly influences the perfume performance. The perfume industry science very well aware of this part. And that, of course, there are personalization algorithms. Many of the companies online or in shop, they've got algorithms. They will ask you your age, your gender, they measure your pH and other aspects and recommend solutions. But these recommendations are good, but there is a limitation because they don't take the most important part into consideration. What is that? This human skin contains, Karnika, you are working on skin microbiome.
Yeah,
Don't
sir.
you think every inch of the human skin has millions of microbes?
Yeah, it has millions of microbes, true.
Millions. And
Yeah.
the perfume industry doesn't talk about
The microbiome.
microbes.
Yeah.
And today, just now I received a message from a doctor, not a microbiologist or infectious disease doctor. He had got it before. How do you claim that microbes are, involved? What's the evidence for your claim? How can I answer? Where we are applying perfume on the skin with millions of microbes. And people just can't believe that the microbes play a role in the perfume performance. People believe that pH plays, temperature plays, moisture plays. It's a very basic biology or science that human skin microbiome strongly influences the pH. pH strongly influences the microbiome. It's in a cycle. The pH influence microbiome and microbiome influence the pH. And people know that pH influences the perfume performance, but they just can't go to the next step of microbiome influence.
Yeah, truly agree, sir. Truly agree.
This is
very nice.
Right now, Karnika, I'm just talking to people, and people, many, excluding perfume industry, and many people who don't know really what's happening behind the screen are saying, where is the evidence? It's common sense.
Yeah,
I can't just believe. I won't blame them because nobody's talking to them.
Yes.
There are no publications before that until recently that microbiome influences the perfume performance. Not even any theoretical concepts where the perfume industry is working on it. They are not telling anybody. Perfume industry is working on it, and microbiome experts are working on it. But common perfume doctors, users, including medics who knows about the skin, don't know this because nobody published it, nobody discussed it. But so common sense that pH influences the perfume performance and microbiome influences the pH. So microbiome influences the perfume performance. It's so simple. We are talking about a human skin, the live canvas of the human skin. Now, this is my apology to the microbial community. I've been, as many of you know, I've been working, like several of you, working in the AMR superbug world for 20 years. We projected microbes as bad, the killers, the destroyers of the global economy, destroyers of the civilization. But let's not forget that 99.999% of the bugs in the world are good. Only 0.0001 produces disease and kill people. And our human body contains more microbes than human cells. Our body contains more microbes than human cells. We are more of microbes than humans. Our gut microbiome and other microbiome influences the body function. Our gut bacteria influences the brain function, the lung function, the heart function, the skin function, the liver function, the bone function, everything in the body. There's a control by the microbiome, especially gut microbiome and skin microbiome. The millions or billions of the microbes living in the skin control our immunity, strong influence on the community, and several other aspects of our body, especially skin, is controlled by the skin microbiome. Now, sweat. Deodorant industry, perfume industry is currently $70 billion. $70 billion. Why such a big industry? I will compare that with the blood testing and the medical blood testing industry. Medical blood testing industry is $100 billion. And perfume is $70 billion. So such a big industry. And the deodorant industry is $15 billion is deodorant. And why? Because sweat, the scent of sweat. Some people are stronger, some people are lighter, but people want to mask their the body odor. And we know that sweat, people believe sweat has body odor. No, sweat is odorless. When initially produced, sweat is odorless. It's the bacteria that make the odor. There are two types of glands or sweat glands on the body. The eccrine glands all over the body. Eccrine glands, it produces a sweat all over the body. Main function is temperature regulation. Initially, it's watery, odorless secretion containing salt and water. It's the bacteria that make it the odor. And there is apocrine glands in the armpit and groin, which is full of fat and protein. Again, no odor first. Whether it's apocrine gland, sweat of the armpit groin, or eccrine of the all over the body, it doesn't have odor. It's a skin microbiome that produces the odor by metabolism of the components of the sweat. Sweat is odorless. The bacteria play a significant, important role in converting sweat into odorless compound. Friends, the body odor science is well developed. So much of research has gone into body odor and the microbiome. Only thing, they haven't worked on the perfume directly on the skin because the perfume industry doesn't fund it. They don't want people to talk about the microbiome. They don't want people, they just want to say, oh, your skin chemistry is different. That's easy to say, skin chemistry. But we are trying to find a solution. Not just people like us. Even the perfume industry is trying to find a solution. They know that microbiome is a secret. They are trying to modulate the microbiome and making changes to find a solution where most of the people don't even know the importance of microbiome on the perfume. Now, why nobody has done a study of the impact of skin microbiome, various bacteria on the perfume notes? Because nobody is going to fund that study. Because perfume industry is not going to benefit from obvious studies on skin microbiome interaction until now, because they don't have a solution. Body odor, enough funded, and the medical enough funded. The medical body odor part is very well funded. The cosmetic industry is very well funded. But there is enough indirect evidence in environmental microbiology. Friends, the natural fragrance molecule in the rose or the bark or the wood on the earth, how did they degrade? By microbes. The microbes in the environment produce enzymes and produce degradation of the natural fragrance molecule. And even your perfumes, What you do, you throw off your perfume half full. Every year, 100,000 tons of perfume bottles with half full of perfumes are thrown into the environment. Who's degrading it? The bacteria in the skin. How do they degrade it? The enzymes and non-enzymatic methods by the bacteria is the one that is degrading perfumes, synthetic and natural enzymes. And these enzymes are well defined. And the same enzymes are used for biosynthesis of the perfume. Of course, we know we get perfume oil from natural like flowers or synthetic petrochemical. Now they are trying to biosynthesize. They use this enzyme and biosynthesize in the bacteria and yeast that can be used in perfumery. They use the same enzyme. Friends, our skin bacteria, the normal bacteria like coagulase negative staph, propionibacteria, corynebacteria, have the same class of enzymes that is present in the environment. The same class of enzymes that is present in the used in the biosynthesis. The same class of enzymes that is used by the flavor industry. The same enzymes that is evident in the gut microbiome studies. We have got the millions or billions of bacteria on the skin having these enzymes. How do you believe these enzymes and the bacteria cannot influence the perfume notes? Karnika, Chaitra, other microbe experts, what do you think?
Sir, I truly agree with your concept that obviously the aroma and everything produced in the nature is by microbes. The natural degradation process, the natural process which are going. Obviously, the pH, people say the pH is influenced by microbes. How is the pH going to change? There has to be a change in the acid and base, and that metabolite is produced by the skin microbiome. That the concept is truly evident. So I believe, sir, this is totally evident that obviously the gut microbiome, the environmental microbiology, the fragrance biosynthesis, everything is handled by microbiome itself.
Right. So we should study it more and utilize the
Yeah.
existing knowledge.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
see, Karnika, now this is the first paper I published as a preprint, The Future of Fragrance Personalization, Harnessing Skin Microbiome Insights for Enhanced Performance, Safety, and Sustainability. I published this paper as a preprint in the preprint.org 1 month ago. You know why I sent this paper to a preprint? If I send it to a conventional journal, I really don't know who can peer review this paper because most of the microbiome experts don't work in the perfumery world. Most of the perfumers have no idea about microbiome. We need scientists who work in the microbiome and perfume industry. Such experts exist, but where do they work? They work for industry,
Industry.
and they don't publish it. They don't
Yeah.
discuss about it. They develop their products secretly. And people, and this is what I did was I utilized the existing published knowledge from environmental microbiology, gut microbiome studies, body odor studies, and perfume bioindustry studies, and fragrance bioindustry studies, and the flavor biosynthesis studies, and then extrapolated the data on the perfume note performance. This is the paper about, and I will discuss the basics of that. Why? So why do you, people are questioning? Okay, what is the evidence? Now, look at companies. Juadan is the giant in perfumery. $10 billion is their annual revenue. Juadan, companies like Juadan are manufacturing perfumes for most of the famous brands. You will not hear Juadan because they don't have their brand, but they manufacture perfume for many of the famous companies like Armani or Gucci or other companies who manufacture. Companies like Juadan, it's a Swiss company. Juadan, Simrise, Firmenich, IFF. These are the major perfume manufacturers in the world. And companies like Zuadan has recently developed a platform called Z-Biome, the world's first microbiome-centered fragrance technology. So giants, Z-Biome. Then there is Z-Biome Dio for deodorant. Friends, the industry giants have developed already the platform and technology to influence the microbiome friendly, and then microbiome modulation. And we are still questioning whether microbiome plays any role in perfumery.
Absolutely true, sir. Fantastically placed. This is how they are working actually.
Just now, 5 minutes just before the stopping, one doctor, a very senior doctor, an industry person, very, from healthcare industry. So, Gafur, what is the evidence for your argument? This is the evidence. Industry knows. Industry is developing products. These kind of products, microbiome friendly and modulating microbiome, deodorants and fragrances, is going to revolutionize the perfume and deodorant and skincare product industry, friends. They're going to revolutionize, and we are just questioning the whole relevance of it. Do you think the big giants don't know the secrets of the basis that I publish? Of course they know. They know much, much more than that. But they're not going to fund any direct studies. We are going to develop the product and sell it. That's going to transform the perfume industry, the deodorant industry, the cosmetic industry. The microbiome friendly and microbiome modulating products are going to revolutionize the industry. And we should know that. Now, this is the postulation from the existing, what I haven't published all these details in the paper, because the paper have got its size limitations, and I'm going to publish more papers. But as coagulase negative staph, the staph epidermidis, is the common bacteria on the skin, especially in the dry areas like wrist. If you apply on the wrist, the commonest bacteria is Staphylococcal epidermidis. And we all know about the enzyme. We all know about the bacteria from all the existing microbiome in science. If you believe the Staphylococcus epidermidis is not going to influence your perfume, are you speaking about science? There are millions of Staphylococcal epidermis on your wrist when you apply a perfume, sitting with influencing the pH, sitting with the enzymes. And of course, they will influence the perfume node. And Staphylococcal epidermis, the enzymes are usually weak. They've got limited influence on the perfume nodes, some influence on aldehydes, some influence on they convert sweat, including lipids, into aromatic compounds such as aldehyde. But coagulase negative staph, Staphylococcal epidermidis, overall a nice bacteria from a perfumery point of view. And body odor point of view. Corynebacteria, bacteria, the worst one, mainly seen in the armpit and groin and other parts in various percentages. They are the worst one from a body odor point of view. The smell of armpit is because of the compounds that is created by conversion of the protein lipid on the armpit. Corynebacteria. Coryne is a reason for the armpit and groin smell. So if you want to use a deodorant, modern technology, you have to suppress the coryne or stimulate the coagulase negative stuff like Staphylococcal epidermidis. That is basic science, isn't it? And industry know that. Already such deodorants are available in the market. You know what the scientists are working on? They're trying to change the percentage of the skin bacteria application site. For example, deodorant you apply on the armpit directly on the skin. They are experimenting on prebiotic, already available. Prebiotic and any deodorants are already available. They stimulate certain bacteria. I'm sure they are stimulating coagulase negative stuff and somehow indirectly suppressing Corynebacteria. Or they are working on microbiome modulation through quorum sensing modulation, through prebiotic, postbiotic, and other methods. The industry is already working and products are already started coming into the market, and we don't know anything about influence of microbiome on perfume and perfume on microbiome.
True, sir. Recently, there is a product which is by a very famous company, Sebamed. Now, they have come up with a product to reduce the sweat odor in the person, and they are trying to modulate this microbiome through postbiotics.
Postbiotics. Yeah, the products are already available, and we are still questioning the role of. See, last week I was having a Zoom meeting with a perfume advisor of a big perfume mid-level company, a giant, not the big technology giant, but commercial giant. He's a scientist, and he's asking me, what is the evidence for microbiome? I don't believe it. I told you, talk to big companies like Zuvadan, Simrise, who are investing. Simrise recently invested $800 million for the microbiome studies on perfumery and deodorant. Where all these are happening, I think this is, we are, when somebody discuss something new, it's not really new. I never claim, maybe I can claim I'm the first person who published a paper on this interaction, potential influence of perfume notes by bacteria, but I know that's very basic, and perfume giant scientists consider it as basic. I'm sure they don't talk about it, but they know it very well, because without this knowledge, they will not be able to modulate the microbiome, isn't it? Because these are basics. They have gone to the level of modulating the microbiome. So of course, for them, this is basic knowledge. Now, the Propionibacteria, the Cutibacterium actinis in the oily areas like face, back, chest, armpit, groin. The Propionibacteria, Cutibacteria, they break down the short chain fatty acids, contributing to stronger body odor and musky smell. The musky smell is because of Propionibacteria. But the smell, the main reason for body odor is Corynebacteria. Now, there is Micrococcus, there is Lactobacillus. The Lactobacillus is a nice bacterium on the perfume. But you know that the skin, the amount of lactobacillus is minuscule and doesn't play any major role in the body odor. Now, of course, people are using lactobacillus containing probiotic cream, stimulating probiotic cream, or lactobacillus containing cream, for various purposes. So this is my prediction, based on looking into enzymology, looking into the percentage of the bacteria. If a person has a predominant staphylococcal epidermidis, there will be some enhancement of the CR and longer lasting, especially base note. But overall, coagulase negative stuff doesn't have a significant influence on the perfume, soft on perfume. Corynebacterium, if you look at the evidence by the insights, interpretation, when I say evidence, interpretation, it reduces the top note, because Corynebacterium have enzymes which affects aldehydes, alcohols. Now, these perfume molecules are chemicals. They are aldehyde. They are acids. They are esters. The same chemical molecule that is present in the environment, in the flavor, in the gut microbiome, in the biosynthesis. The same enzymes, the same chemical groups. Bacteria, you apply perfume, the same chemical, aldehyde, acid, esters, terpenes, ions, the same like an environment. And we know in environment enzymes act. Same enzymes are present on the skin. Do you think same substrate, same enzymes, interaction will not take place? They have to take place. If it works in the nature, if it works in the gut, if it works in the laboratory, it has to work in the human skin. Common sense. So the Corynebacteria should be playing a significant role on the perfume node performance. But if you look at the insights from the other area of microbiome science interactions on the perfume and the flavor molecules. Corynebacteria, the Propionibacterium, Cutibacterium will make the base note stronger, because the base notes are usually heavy molecules. Even Corynebacteria cannot have strong interaction on them. So in people with predominant Corynebacteria in areas, Cutibacterium or Propionibacterium areas, the musky, woody, or amber note will be amplified. But just because of amplified doesn't mean it's nice. It's like a loud music. Loud music is not always very melodious. What we need is melodious performance and not loudness. So if somebody has got dysbiosis, abnormal percentage of the bacteria, the perfume performance will be different. Now, so we can, this is study. This is from the published body odor studies. Look at the wrist. Wrist will have more coagulase negative stuff, then Corynea, then Cutibacteria. Look at the neck. There is more Cutibacterium, Corynebacterium, and less coagulase negative stuff. Look at the armpit. The green Corynea predominates. The body odor of the armpit and groin is due to Corynebacterium influence. If you want to change the body odor in the armpit, you have to stimulate other bacteria and suppress the Corynebacterium. That's what industry is doing. But what we are trying to do, what my publication was about, the basic common sense publication was about, why can't we use this knowledge to interpret and help people to help them to select a perfume that has got a better performance on the skin? Because skin is a live canvas. Millions and billions of microbes, the enzymes, metabolites, that has to influence perfume. If people don't believe that perfume notes are not influenced by the microbiome, we are all questioning the basic nature, the power of the microbes. The whole question, we are questioning the power of the number of cells present in the human body. More microbes in human body than human cells. And if we believe they don't influence the perfume you apply on the skin, we are questioning the basis of evolution, the nature. Just because we don't discuss about it doesn't mean it exists. It exists, and scientists know about it. That's why they are producing microbiome friendly fragrances, creams, deodorants, microbiome modulating fragrances and deodorants and creams in research. What is the solution? Genomic. You look into the genomic, the metagenomic. And scientists know that it's difficult to culture all these normal skin bacteria. Many of the names are not even known. We do a next generation sequencing and metagenomic studies of the skin microbiome. And recently I developed an algorithm based on these insights. And this is just a modification of the existing algorithm. Existing algorithm has gender, age, the pH, the skin oiliness, the climate you work, and your personal preferences. I added the microbiome insights into it. It is not rocket science. It's not rocket science. It is common sense based on the insights from the existing microbiome studies. Even though there is no direct study on between the enzyme, the perfume molecules, and the bacteria on the skin doesn't exist, because nobody wants to fund it. Nobody's going to benefit out of it. And it's very, very expensive. Microbiome, we can do NGS analysis, but the volatile organic compound, we need a GCMS machine, and the process is expensive. In my calculation, for a proper study on India, we need at least 500 subjects, and I need 35 crores. Nobody will fund. Any country, nobody will fund for development of perfume to microbiome such study, because you don't need such studies. It's the insights are already available, and we know what we are working on. So if you develop an algorithm based on microbiome insights, we can give a better advice to individual. Now let me tell you an example. Chanel number 5 is aldehyde, citrus, floral, and base note of woody, musky, patchouli. Now, if you apply it on the neck, somebody has got an oily skin. Oily skin has a lot of Propione bacteria, predominantly Propione, then Corynea coagulase negative stuff. What will happen if you apply Chanel number 5 aldehyde floral 1 into the neck in an oily skin person? Can anybody tell me what will happen? This is the microbiome based insight.
Sir, aldehyde would be used by Corynebacterium, and it would be metabolized further. So the longevity and the odor will change.
Right. And the musky, woody notes will be amplified.
Yeah, true. That would be amplified, yeah.
That's what happened to Vidya. Isn't it? If somebody has got oily skin and putting Chanel number 5 on the neck will not give you performance. At the same time, if you apply it on the wrist, by conventional perfumery, if you apply it on the wrist is a dry area, airy, the perfume note like citrus, floral, evaporate faster. So you should be applying more on the neck. But if you apply it on the neck in an oily person, the top note, citrus and aldehyde, these enzymes just wipe out aldehyde. That's what they do in nature and body odor studies and biosynthesis areas. And it has to happen in the human skin. And people know that. If you apply aldehyde on an oily person, it doesn't function well. People know that musky, woody notes will be amplified in oily people. They just say it's chemistry, pH. They don't just acknowledge the microbiome. And okay, so what will we do? Okay, in theory, existing concept, don't apply it on the wrist, because wrist evaporate very fast. It's a dry area. You apply in oily area. So perfume like Chanel number 5, aldehyde, citrus, floral doesn't function. You go to any conventional expert perfumer, they will apply it on the neck. It's oily. It holds back. No, it will be abnormally functioning. It hold back, but abnormal. It hold back the musky woody, not the aldehyde, not the citrus, not the floral. In the wrist, in conventional theory, it should evaporate fast. It's a dry, airy area. But it has got more coagulase negative stuff, less enzyme degradation of the aldehydes and acids of the floral. So it functions better. And if it's dry, you apply a neutral moisturizing cream. Or what you do, when you select a perfume with heavy woody or musky note, especially woody note, not musky, woody note, which hold back. So if you buy a perfume which has got heavy musky, heavy woody note like a sandalwood or a patchouli or oud, it will hold back the top note like citrus and floral and functions better. You apply moisturize the area, put a neutral cream, and buy a perfume that is heavy with woody, floral, heavy woody. Or what you do, you layer the area. You first apply a perfume with a heavy woody like wood or sandalwood oil or a patchouli, a perfume. Over that, you layer it with a citrus floral note like a Chanel number 5. It will function. And without microbiome insights, you cannot give this advice. I'm just giving one example of the algorithm that I've developed. I'm not talking about rocket science. My algorithm is based on common sense that I received by reading existing literature from other areas of research. And that can significantly change the people apply their perfume. This is one example. I can give you dozen. I have at least 25, 30 scenarios where I can help the people. If you tell me your problems of perfume, which perfume, where do you apply your perfume, and which perfume company you buy, what are the notes, and which one functions for you, I can predict what will be the solution. Ideally, we need a next generation sequencing of the skin, but that is not possible. Before buying a perfume, you can't do an NGS analysis for bacterial predominance. But if you have all this history, you talk to the person, talk about a person's former perfume performance. You can predict what the skin is going to behave like, what the pH will be. You can measure a pH, of course, that will be very useful. And the pH correlates strongly with the bacterial predominance in different areas. For example, you know, the wrist has got a pH of 4.2 to 5.5. Good for the perfume. Neck has 5 to 5.5 to 6. But look at the armpit, has got a high pH due to Corynebacterium metabolites. Up to 6, 5.5 to 6. Never apply perfume on the armpit. It functions wrong way. Bad conversion of the perfume note. Smells bad. Armpits are for deodorants, not for perfume. No, so at the same time, you know, people, yes, you should apply perfume on the pulse points like wrist, elbow, neck, because wrist has radial artery, the elbow, the brachial artery, neck, the carotid artery, especially behind the ear is the top of the carotid. You apply perfume on the pulse point because perfume, volatile organic compounds needs body warmth to function. The evaporation needs body warmth. That's why perfumery you advise it on pulse point. But if you use the microbiome insights and which pulse point is going to make a big difference. Applying on the wrist is not like applying on the neck. And front of the neck has different microbial profile than back of the neck. If the microbial profile on the nape of the extreme back of the neck near the hair is very oily, propiony, coriny, less coagulase negative stuff. Behind the ear is a very good area. Balanced coriny, coagulase negative stuff area. Wrist, more coagulase negative stuff. So by our algorithm, by the common sense, a perfume, a person with very oily skin, be very careful in applying a floral, citrus, aldehyde perfume on oily area like neck. You apply it on the wrist or apply it on the arms and not on the back of the neck. Back of the neck is very good for oud, because oud has got molecule terpene resistant to degradation. Even nature, people know that in nature, oud and musk are resistant to degradation to a great extent. You know, the musk that we use in our perfume, friends, very resistant to degradation by the enzymes or the bacteria in the nature. That's why the musky perfume that we use, the musk molecules are contaminating the environment. Even the fish that we eat has musk in it, synthetic musk in it, friends. It's causing environmental pollution due to synthetic fragrance molecules, especially musk. And so, like oud is very good. Oud and musk, you apply it on the neck. They're resistant to degradation by bacterial enzymes of even in the neck, Propionibacteria, Corynebacteria. And if you don't understand this basic microbiome, you will not be able to advise individuals. If a perfume doesn't function, you apply it on the neck. That's a conventional wisdom. That's wrong. You don't need any skin testing. You just use the wisdom. It can make a big difference. So this is the advice my algorithm gave it to Vidya. Change the application site. Go for inner elbow or behind the ear, not apply on the back of the neck. And use floral perfume combined with musky woody, or pair it or layer it. with 2 layers. And then layering, yes. Avoid aldehyde heavy perfume. Overall, for a very oily person, aldehyde like Chanel number 5 is not the right one, not the perfect one, but still, people like Chanel number 5 or aldehyde or floral. Apply it on the correct area, the wrist or the elbow, not on the oily neck. And opt for skin compatible perfume population. Until now we have been talking about the impact of perfume bacteria on perfume nodes, which is common sense and existing on the science. But on the other way, perfume components like alcohol and synthetics or even synthetics are affecting skin microbiome, and skin microbiome is very important. We should use perfume the less impact on our wonderful protective skin microbiome. That's why the perfume industry is going to produce perfume like Zuvadan's Z-Biome platform, which are more microbiome friendly. Microbiome friendliness, microbiome modulation. Microbiome friendliness is a wonderful concept. Microbiome modulation, we can discuss more. So the algorithm that I developed with this existing concept, yes, to avoid, my advice to that person will be, you avoid aldehyde-rich perfumes, and you can use this combination like floral plus wood, floral plus musk, floral plus spice, floral plus oud, and the algorithm even give you the brand names. It's very easy to search. My algorithm, I have incorporated hundreds of perfumes, various components. It can give you the advice to people, and I love oud. Oud is resistant to degradation to a great extent, even by Corynea bacteria. It's a very heavy molecule, cycloterpene. Hold the floral citrus aldehyde down, and resilience, and they are of course natural one. Good to the skin, microbiome friendly, and algorithm give recommendations. So, and then if you want, you can take a swabble skin from the wrist or neck, do a 16x PCR and NGS and bacterial abundant analysis in various areas like wrist and neck, and then that will help us the prediction. But we can't do an NGS analysis before buying a perfume. That's not practical. So even without any molecular studies, by using the insights from the existing microbiome studies for the environmental microbiome, gut microbiome, the fragrance industry, biosynthesis industry insights, we can help people. Why do we need help people? What will happen if you apply, okay, let the perfume function or doesn't function? Who cares? No, we must care, because perfumes have side effects. They smell divine. They're heavenly. They have side effects, friends. They are alcohol and petrochemical with fixatives and other components, chemicals. And some of them are dirty to the skin, toxic to the skin, especially 2 molecules called phthalate and parabens. Phthalates are endocrine disrupting molecules. Everybody knows some of the skin side effects. Some people have allergy. That is nothing compared to bigger side effects. Some of the molecule disrupts the endocrines, hormone. It can reduce the sperm count in men. It can affect the baby in a pregnant lady. It can affect the thyroid function. It can affect the prostate function, the liver function. Endocrine disrupting molecule. Many of the perfume molecules are endocrine disrupting molecules. They have got cardiovascular side effects. They can have, especially the benzene dactone. Musk can have cardiovascular side effects. Benzophenols can have cardiovascular side effects. Respiratory side effects like allergy, asthma, we know that. Hormonal destruction. And some of the perfume molecules are cancer-producing. Benzene derivatives have oncogenic, carcinogenic potential. Friends, perfumes are amazing. We love the breeze. We love the light, sunlight. We love the splash of water. But that doesn't mean we have to stand in a flood under the harsh sunlight and poisoned by oxygen. We need everything in moderation. I'm a big connoisseur of perfumes, but that doesn't mean perfumes are that safe. That doesn't mean you can pour the perfumes on your body everywhere, like social media influencers, you see. Oh, they apply it all over the body, the dress, the body. Ideally, perfume should be applied on the skin, because that's where it functions well. In the skin, the dress is just flat. The evolution is flat. The real evolution is on the skin, but there are side effects. So when you buy the good quality perfume, the best components, and use the smallest possible amount. And if 50% of the people, the right perfume doesn't function on them, they over apply. They apply large amount. They apply it lunchtime, evening, morning, several times of the day. That's dangerous. That's not how you use perfume. And to use the right perfume, yes, buy the right perfume. You can best perfume you can afford, rather than buying low cost dozens of bottles. You're forced to buy dozens of bottles because they don't function well. You buy the right perfume, apply the smallest amount. For that, you need personalization. And personalization is incomplete without microbiome insight. If you deny the importance of microbiome, you're denying your own health side effects. You are not understanding the health side effects. And then sustainability issues. I discussed 1 lakh tons of perfume bottles are discarded into the waste bin. That is polluting the environment. And then natural oils, where do they get? You have to cut the trees. You have to grow, acres and acres of rose, flowers. You need water. You need manpower. That is resource. There are sustainability issues like deforestation, water pollution, resource consumption, waste generation. So we need a radical shift in the perfume industry. And that cannot happen without, we need perfume biosynthesis. Rather than cutting the trees or synthetic petrochemical, we can biosynthesize molecule, and perfume industry is already doing it, is going to make a big boom in the future. Microbiome modulation. Yes, it's a controversial area, but why a deodorant has to function properly, it has to suppress the Corynebacteria bacteria. And such perfumes, deodorant are already available. And that's by microbiome modulation. You add components, we can change the percentage of the bacteria. So people know about the importance of microbiome. And people are now, like giants like Zuadan are producing Z-Biome and Z-Biome Deo platform, where their perfumers can know which component is microbiome friendly and incorporating that into the perfume design. That is the way forward. So biosynthesis of the perfume molecules is the way forward. Microbiome friendliness is the way forward. Microbiome modulation is the way forward. How can you deny the importance of microbiome in perfumery, in cosmetics? Microbiome modulation in the deodorant is easier because deodorant is simple. It's less complex. Perfume is a complex product. Microbiome modulation is more complex, but people are doing it. Friends, my first slide. If Josephine's skin had more Corynea and Perfume, the history of France could have been different. Because if Josephine's skin had more Corynea Perfume bacteria, the perfume that she used, she had an amazing perfume created by the best French perfume only for Josephine. And Napoleon loved that perfume. In fact, Napoleon loved the body odor of Josephine. And people believe the perfume she used, her odor strongly influenced Napoleon. So what if her body had a lot of Corynea Perfume bacteria? That would have theoretically changed the performance of a perfume. And maybe Napoleon would have loved her a bit less. And without Josephine's influence, Napoleon couldn't have achieved his amazing influence. And probably the history of France and the Europe would have been different. Olfactory. So whether you go for a dating or a personal influence or a diplomatic meeting, in theory, a perfume scent can influence brain, the thought process, at least temporarily. It has got enormous influence. Theoretically, you can win a chess competition. You apply a perfume that you know that your opponent will not like it. And if you use, and for example, if you know your opponent and rose give him bad memories of childhood or bad confrontation in personal relationship, if you wear a rose perfume, the other person will immediately mind will go back to his past bad memories and you lose his concentration. So look at the amazing potential in various aspects of the life, not just in personal aspect. It has got huge potential. Scent can influence people. Theoretically, it can influence important decisions. Personalization using skin microbiome inside. I'm not asking people to do NGS analysis of the skin swab. Inside, existing insights is the way forward. We should not deny these insights to the public. 70% of the world population use perfumes. 45% use it every day. And 50% of these people believe the perfume is not functioning on them properly. Don't you think we have the responsibility to educate them on how to apply perfume, especially how to use microbiome inside? Currently, the perfume industry may not like it. They just want the people to throw it on your body and let them, if it doesn't work, just throw it off. But that's not the way forward. And perfume industry is changing. Perfume industry is working on personalization and microbiome friendliness, microbiome modulation. So that is the future of perfumery. That's the future of deodorant. That's the future of skincare products. Thank you.
Sir, so do you suggest that there are many people, who are coming with the problem of bad body odor, and they have been trying different types of perfumes and deodorants and different things to get rid of this. So ideally, these are those candidates who, for whom a site-specific skin microbiome should be done, and they should be then asked to use a specific deodorant or a perfume according to the body type.
Ideally, yes, because if you, what we can do, we can take a swab from the wrist, neck, the common perfume application site, do an NGS analysis, we'll get the bacterial dominance, and based on that, our interpretation will be easy. The algorithm will be far sharper if you do that, but that's not practically possible. But at the same time, if some perfume connoisseur significantly believe that most of the perfumes are not functioning on them, then we can do NGS. Otherwise, even with NGS, even if you take a history of the person, a person used 5 perfume, and they'll tell you this perfume is functioning on my body, this perfume is not functioning on the body. We can look into the notes of that perfume and see where they're applying, and we can have an idea what will be the predominant, just like the Chanel number 5 aldehyde story, and use those insights from the history. We can advise them, oh, this is possibly the problem, this could be the possibly your microbiome percentage in your area, and this is a change you can make in the component of the perfume. And for making changes in the component, we don't have to create new perfume. If you go to a perfume shop, there are hundreds of perfume with different combinations, and instead of using one, you can use another one. The same company will have different combinations, the combination that we want. So there's nothing, it just needs 5 minutes personalization in the perfume shop or online before you buying it. It can change the way you use your perfume. The perfume performance will be significantly different. The existing algorithms are itself useful. Many websites have such algorithm, but they're very superficial algorithm. The algorithm that we envisage is a deep algorithm. I applied for a provisional patent for the algorithm, but as I mentioned, it's not I'm the first person to publish the paper, but my understanding why people are not talking about it. But I know why people have been publishing, because of the reasons I explained. But this is the way forward. And especially when the big industry is producing microbiome modulating and friendly perfumes, we have to change, use the knowledge to help people, to help ourselves.
So do you think, like, in the algorithm which you have created, like if in the algorithm we also can develop, that each bacteria, when they are in the body, they produce specific metabolites. Like if
Yeah,
we, like the strips or the algorithm which are given in the perfume market, and they ask you to fill in the form, and they discuss which perfume you
yeah,
should use. So ideally,
yeah,
they should also have that metabolite strip test or something can be made. Like if your body is producing that metabolite, so most likely you are having directly related to this microbiome, and you can get this perfume better, because that would be cheaper to use
yeah,
as compared to
yeah.
NGS, and that could be a card test type of a thing.
Yeah, NGS is not the way forward. NGS doesn't have the mass potential.
Yeah.
We need to look at the pH will give a lot of idea,
Yeah.
but not from the conventional pH strip usage of perfume.
Yeah.
Perfume
Got your
personalization
point.
use pH, but we need to interpret that pH value in a microbiome perspective. Metabolites we can look into, because, and we need, only thing we need more volatile organic compound studies. The body, or it's expensive. VOC study is expensive, but that's the way forward. But perfume industry is not doing it, because perfume industry, this VOC studies are used for personalization, but perfume industry is not interested in personalization. For them, it's mass market. Whatever they do should change the performance of the maximum people. Their sale is mass market and not personalization. Personalization is a niche market, definitely has potential, but the big investment of 800 million, 1 billion by the Simrise or Zwadan is not for personalization, for mass satisfaction.
Agree, sir. Truly agree to that.
Friends, Chaitra?
Yes, sir.
Chaitra, your opinion. You're a scientist, so you can
I to
critically analyze.
no, I totally agree with this concept. And I think what Dr. Karnika said is more interesting and probably easier to implement than NGS, because of like the turnover time and like lot of logistical challenges. So eventually, if using metabolomics, because again that's something I see is coming up, especially metabolomics in microbiome and everything. So if there is like a easy strip or another test that people could use who are having challenges in like choosing a perfume, I think that will be
Right,
revolutionizing.
right.
Yeah.
It will. Only thing, metabolomics, we need to generate those data and need funding.
Yes.
It's unlikely anybody will fund. The reason is the
Yeah,
perfume
true.
industry is interested in generalization, and
Yes.
metabolomics is used for personalization. But of course, even this metabolomic data can help us to develop better products. So industry should be interested in metabolomics too. But for personalization, people will not fund it. Even for the NGS, initially for to develop before when I tried to incorporate into algorithm NGS, I thought we need more data, but who's going to fund it? Nobody's going to fund it. So that's why I modified the algorithm with insights rather than direct doing NGS studies. But metabolomics is the way forward. That will be far easier and faster than genomics. But again, we need funding to do studies. And metabolomics, insights-based work will not be, insights-based interpretation will not work because we need hardcore data on metabolomics. It's a wonderful scientific idea. If people are willing to fund, we should explore it.
And another thing that I was thinking is like even with microbiome studies, right? Like we cannot generalize if it's done on, say, American or European population, we cannot generalize the same thing for like Indian population. So culturally, again, like the microbiome will change and the way they metabolize things, like the species prevalence and their metabolic capacity, everything will change. So unless it's all like customized or we have enough data for different sets of population, I think it's difficult to generalize. So these should be like a
Right.
customized study or
Yeah.
like investments, so to say.
Yeah. Completely agree, Chaitra. Even the platform like Zuvada and ZBiome and all this, I'm sure they have done the study in French population or European, not on Asian. So how it could be reproducible to a great extent, and I'm sure it will work to a great extent in the global population. But if you really want the performance, they should or we should generate the data on our population. For Indians, Indian data, and Middle East data. Why is it important? You know, the lowest perfume usage is in Japan. You know that. China, Japan. Japanese use perfume very little. Body odor of different population is different. If you look at the Japanese, their body odor, 95% of the people doesn't have strong body odor. Chinese, Japanese, Koreans, 95% of the people doesn't have strong body odor. Look at the Western population, 95% of the people have strong body odor. The reason is the genes are different. Genes are different. In Japanese or Chinese or Korean, they got less body odor because their genes for the transporter molecules in the sweat, that area, the glands, are different. Genetic mechanism is different. So Japanese or China, even with a huge population, big affordable population, the perfume usage is similar to that of India. And Japan is a very low market for perfume industry, and perfume industry doesn't like Japanese market. Even if they use light citrus molecule, light floral. They don't need stronger perfumes or deodorant because they don't have strong body odor. So Chaitra, your point is perfectly right. With all this difference in the population, body odor, and the deodorant and perfume usage, studies on many microbiome metabolic studies should be specific to the population if you want to develop the real product. friends, others, it's 1 hour 40 minutes. Science and art. Any other comments, opinions, suggestions, how we can work on it? What we
I want to
understand,
know.
yeah, Chaitra,
Oh, sorry. No. Go ahead.
it's such an amazing field, with a lot of potential, not only research potential, industry potential, because research, people will not fund research unless it has commercial potential. And perfume and deodorant is one of the industries where the compound annual growth rate is 15 to 25%. You know why too many perfume brands are coming up? All the film actors and actresses have their own perfume brand, because perfume is a flourishing industry. Every day, today you list Sunday, weekend of Hindu, there's a new perfume brand by an actress. And so, only thing, they all talk about their memories of amazing fragrance. They don't talk about the science. And we are talking about the science. We are talking about changing the perfumery with science and microbiome input, with algorithms, and with personalization, with generalization, new molecules, biosynthesis. And that's the way forward. And we, the people of science, have an advantage over the film actors or actresses, because we can work on the science. And we know the health implications. We know the science behind it. We know the microbiome inside, which we can do far better service to the people than so-called social media influencers. Should we call it a day?
Yeah, sir, it was an insightful talk. Got to know many things about it.
We
Thank
can
you, sir.
discuss more. Such an
Yeah,
amazing field is perfumery.
yeah,
We can discuss about various components. We can have a discussion on oud one day. The
yeah,
art of oud, the science of oud, maybe with microbiome insights.
yes.
After you introduced this concept to me, I was actually thinking, like, I have been studying microbiology for so long, but it never occurred to me to think about this aspect of it, like how bacteria could metabolize things differently and everything. So I think it's very interesting how you picked up something which is already there, but again, uh,
Yeah,
not really visible unless you really look for it.
yeah. It's interesting. And, we all been dealing with the bad bugs. And maybe, Chaitra, of course, bad bugs are very interesting. You're done wonderful job with bad bugs. We have done policy work,
Yeah.
scientific work. But, talking about good bugs is different. People, my experience with the media, we all of us have tried hard to convince the media on AMR, isn't it? Superbugs. But the talk about perfume, the paper about perfume, the news about perfume, so many newspapers want to publish articles on that. See, 4 newspapers published the story that I gave them on the microbiome insights. They're all interested in publishing, and people are interested in reading because it's positivity, it's perfume, it's good bugs. People love to hear about it. But our challenge is how to convince the people on bugs and perfume. I'm sure one of the biggest challenges the perfume industry dealing with currently, influencers, is the film actors and actresses. They all talk about the divinity and memory of the wonderful of the perfume. When you got microbiome friendly perfumes, microbiome modulating perfume, I'm sure these influencers cannot convince the people, isn't it? We need different kind of scientific influencers
Yeah, I agree with that.
where we will
100%.
have a role.
Yeah.
Instead of Deepika Padukone coming on the model, or Rachel Weisz coming on, we should be the models. Oh,
Yeah.
microbiome friendly.
Yeah.
There's a potential. When that revolution going to happen in the perfumery, cosmetics, I think we can be a part of that revolution.